I would ask you folks, how many of you would be talking about Medicare and Social Security this morning if we hadn't come down here today? Not likely. So it is to get a thought process going, and the opinions, beliefs, rationale, wisdom of the people on the ground that we're out here talking today.
In your package, you have the presentation that we'll be going through. You also have some brochures that are educational about Social Security and Medicare and what you should be concerned about, with some background information. And then you have a questionnaire that we'll be going through that looks like this. We'll be going through later.
I've been paying into Social Security since I was 15 years old. I've never ever collected a dime from the U.S. government. I've never collected unemployment or any type of program. But I did include Medicare and Social Security as part of my retirement plan. And it's very depressing to me when I see on TV very influential politicians making comments about revising it or cutting it or doing something to it. And it's depressing to pay into a program all these years just to have somebody say now they want to change it. And I'm hoping that they can't. And I'm hoping that it's going to be there for me. And I'm looking for some positive input that it will be.
The way it's funded is if you make over 100,000, I think,
109,
whatever it is, you don't pay any more Social Security tax on that. And there's a block in Congress that's against raising that limit. It has been raised, I know, because I remember seeing it being lower at one time. And from the analysis I've seen is that if you raise that, you can be solvent all the way through the next century. So Social Security is not the biggest problem. It's relatively easily solved. You can project it to be solvent through pretty much the century if you just make a little tweak to the tax law, and people making over $110,000 pay a little more tax. And the question is, can they afford it, or do they have the power to resist it?
Consultant, and basically he said Social Security is the biggest Ponzi scheme that was ever devised, and pretty much if you listen to what this gentleman said, it's not the money that you put into it, it's taking money from people who are working today and shuffling it over, and that just always stuck in my mind, and it seems like there might be some truth to that, and if it doesn't get funded, then you're not going to get paid. That's it.
It's a social agreement between people who are working now and people who aren't. That's what it really is.
I mean, that's an extreme point of view. I just thought I'd share
But if you're one of the people who are working now, that money I'm paying is going into that, should be going to that Social Security.
It's not. You're supporting our parents'
It's going to pay
generation.
benefits of people who are receiving benefits, and you want that to continue. That's the way the system works. If you either that, or you're saying you don't want your Social Security because it's those people. My son, my two sons are paying, and I want them to pay. I paid all my years, and other people got the money. I mean, why shouldn't they? The question is, how do you make it work?
Say we have another collapse, and the economy just gets worse, and there aren't enough people working paying those taxes. Then that money that we've contributed over all these years is not there. So we could. It's a potential problem. It's an extreme point of view to call it a Ponzi scheme, but I mean there are some potential risks with Social Security.
Medicare is a very different issue because there you're paying premiums, and if you stay healthy, you don't draw from it. And actually, that's a good thing because it means you stayed healthy. Why would you want to, right? So we all pay, and hopefully not too many people draw, but that's not what's happening right now. More and more people are getting to old age unhealthy, and they're drawing on the system in a way that it can't support, quite frankly. I mean, I worked in the medical field for quite a number of years, and I could see. So in a way, it pays, we all need to, the kinds of reforms that are needed, we need to stay more healthy, for one thing.
We should get some sort of incentives in the health insurances and stuff where you get some sort of reward or for being
good health.
healthy, for using less of the benefits that are there.
Are we fighting to keep it solvent for just a few more years, or as far out as we can go? Well, obviously, I'd like to keep it going forever, but in reality, is that feasible?
The question of whether it can stay solvent, the answer is yes, it can. It's just a question of how you adjust the taxes to do it in the meantime. It can be done. Anybody that says it can't be done, they're just plain wrong.